Sagittarius, welcome to March. This is Gwendolyn. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. This is going to be a video about March for Sagittarius, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sky, and then I will be doing a Tarotscope for March for Sag. So the first thing that's going on in March is we open the month with a full moon in Virgo, which is in your 10th house, Sag. So 10th house is the house of career, reputation, the outer status that we project into the world. Can have to do with your image, what you do for a living, any public office that you may hold, or ways that you serve the community. So 10th house really has to do with career, work, status, reputation, all of that. And there's a full moon there, March 1st. So it really may be that you're being spotlighted or highlighted or featured at your work. You may be getting that final promotion that you've been looking for, or achieving a position of responsibility and authority in your work, or your work is just being highlighted in one way or another, whether it be that you're arriving at a completion and a finality, that's something you've been working at, or whether it's highlighting that area for more examination. It's just being featured. March 1st, we open the month with your work being featured, Sag. And potentially for some of you too, it could be that you're releasing something, that you're completing a career, that you're moving on into retirement, or that you're completing a certain career in order to begin something new. Sometimes full moons can come to times of completion or release. So that's a possibility for some of you as well. And March 17th, we have a new moon in your 4th house, which is the house of home. It's the house of parenting. It's the house of nurturance. It's normally ruled by Cancer. So there's a new potential beginning in your home at the middle of the month. So you could be having, say, a new baby come in, or you could be having a new housemate or roommate, or it's also a really good time if you're planning on doing any sort of home renovations or any additions, anything that you're doing to remodel or modify your home. It's sort of like saying that there's new energy coming into your home. For some of you, it could even just be like a puppy, or painting the house a different color. Something new, something fresh, some new energy potentially coming into your home. And it could be something that grows over the course of the next 6 months. You know, if you're building an addition to your home, you may have some nice results by the end of the next 6 months when we get that full moon in Pisces, Sag. So wonderful time to begin anything that has to do with your home, with things around your home, with interior decorating, even anything to do with architecture. All great 4th house themes. Let's see what's coming up for you, Sag. We open the month with 5 of coins, so there may be something that you feel like you're recovering from in terms of a financial loss, or it could be an emotional loss. Something of value usually is, we're feeling like a loss of something that we really valued when it's 5 of coins. And the message of this card is to focus on the spiritual world, to focus on the lessons that it brought us, rather than our current external physical situations, because that can make us feel very left out in the cold, very isolated, this is can be a poor me kind of card. But the focus of this is that there's always nurturing and care available. There's always this glowing inner spiritual light if we can manage to focus on it. So 5 of coins is really a card of choice of focus. Focusing on our internal spiritual world, our connection with everything that's always constant, regardless of what losses we may experience in the physical world. So let's see what else is coming up with that. Interesting. And this is the card of the home, the 4 of Wands, stability, security. So there may be something that you feel like you've lost something regarding the home. Some of you may have lost a home where you had to move out of somewhere, or there was a sale of a home, or that there may be a loss regarding the home at the opening of March. And it may, you know, for some of you, if you are changing jobs, it may be that you're changing to a different job and you're having to move out of your, you know, favorite home that you've lived in for a while. There's something to do with the completion and maybe feeling like you've lost something valuable. But there's also very sweet energy here. 6 of Cups. This has to do with reunion from someone from your past. Feeling childlike. Both of these are very sweet, stable, secure cards. So it may be that you're experiencing some sort of loss, Sag, but that there's all this support for you. This is stability and security. This is people that you know from the past, someone that you can trust, someone that you can laugh and feel childlike with and be innocent and share heart energy with. So regardless of if you're feeling left out in the cold in some way, or you're experiencing some loss, whether it be financial or emotional, something here in the physical realm, you do still show that you have a lot of nice support and security regardless, both emotionally and in terms of the castle. So it's saying to me that, you know, if you are having to move out of somewhere, there's going to be somewhere else that feels like home to you. And this too can be a surprise. 4 of Wands can be surprise festivity energy. So even if, you know, I know this is cliche, but what these 2 cards say together is if one door closes, another one opens. You might be surprised with someone showing up from your past who is there to comfort you. Or you may renew a childhood friendship or relationship that brings you security even in your time of need. So that's going on for you, Sag, at the beginning of March. Yeah, there's something that you're completing. There's a chapter that's closing. You can see in both of these cards there is some sort of wounding or hardship. You know, it's like, I can't do this anymore. You know, I've lost too much. This can be a poverty card, so it can feel like I just really am hitting rock bottom here. But with these cards in the center of this, it's saying that you have the resources and the support. These are yellow cards. These are optimistic. These are like, you know, sharing your heart, wearing your heart on your sleeve and sharing it with a good friend in the safety, comfort, and stability of the home. So they're saying that, you know, these are here to support you. This is supportive energy for whatever you might be going through, Sag, here in terms of letting something go, feeling lost or bereft or left out in the cold or in financial poverty. It's just saying, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to think this way anymore. I've come to the end. Because 10 of Swords is the end of a cycle. It's the end of a certain way of thinking. And I really get that your home network or friends, especially people you know from the past or long-term friendships or relationships, can really help nurture you through that, Sag. I've got Empress. This card's saying lack of abundance with 5 of Coins. There's something to say about you may be feeling some sort of financial loss. And it may take you time to look at it from a different perspective. You may have to adjust your perspective. Again, I'm seeing with the way that these wands are lining up, you may have to change your way of looking at things so that you change your way of acting, so that you can allow this in. Empress is about abundance, satisfaction, everything growing around her, everything being nurtured. And Hangman means doing things your own unique way. When Hangman's in reverse, it's worrying too much about what other people think. You know, for some of you, Sages, I'm getting that you may be overly concerned with how much money, you're concerned with, like, showing up in a certain way, like, especially with that full moon in your 10th house. You're like, do I have the career? Do I have the status? Do I have the money that I need to? And this is saying, even if you don't, you may need to flip your way of thinking. You may need to, like, end a certain way of thinking about it. And you do have lots of support. So Hangman is encouraging you to let go of whatever fears, doubts, or resistance you may have to doing things your own unique way, Sag. You guys are pretty much usually happy-go-lucky, carefree, traveler types. Like, you aren't afraid of the new horizon. And this is saying, embrace that. Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses. Don't worry about trying to fit in. You have your own unique way of doing things, and you need to honor that. and remove whatever fears you may have about doing things. And it's sort of like an eccentric, you're true to your own path. And that's where you allow in more abundance, more satisfaction. As you deal with the fears, doubts, or resistance about doing things your own unique way and not necessarily having to do it in a traditional status-based way, regardless of what other people are thinking, regardless of what the old way that you may have been thinking, you let more of this Empress energy in, which is about wealth, prosperity, abundance, satisfaction. You put yourself in a place of receiving, because right now you may not be receiving the help and the care and concern that is available to you. You may just have to do a 180 with your thinking, Sag, and it's there for you. Both of these cards are here for you. They're showing up. Satisfaction, abundance, growth, financial abundance, and this is doing it your way. I'm seeing, with these two cards, I'm seeing, like Frank Sinatra said, I did it my way, is what Empress plus Hangman says. It's someone who's acknowledging their own inner value and inner worth and their own unique way of doing things. So I want to offer you the opportunity, Sag, to question any way that you're not allowing yourself to just be you and do things your own way and receive everything that's sort of coming to you or wanting to be given to you, all of the support and care and stability of the home, of maybe even your family or childhood friends or a relationship. This is all beautiful energy. So allow that in, Sag. If you're struggling with anything like this, any sort of loss or the end of bottoming out, the end of your rope, the end of a way of thinking, there is a lot of good stuff. These are both major arcana cards. All the abundance in the world, complete satisfaction, receiving everything you want. And Hangman, seeing things from a different perspective, being enlightened, even finding comfort even in discomfort. These are here available for you. You may just have to remove any doubts, fears, or resistance to letting those in. And then middle of the month, another major arcana, Death in reverse. This usually has to do with fear of letting go of something. Whenever I see Death in reverse, I think of that Buddhist saying that says, let go or be dragged. So Death in reverse is really saying that there are some fears, doubts, or resistance to letting go of an old way of being. Also speaks to this card, Ten of Swords, and trusting in the fact that there's new life. When we cut the rose, there's new seeds that can be planted that bring new life, but you have to cut the rose and harvest those seeds in order to make that transformation from life how it was before to life how it's going to be. So the middle of the month may be a big time for you to let go of things from the past, to honor your own way of doing things, seeing things from a different perspective, and allow the bounty and the abundance of life that is wanting to come to you. But because these are all in reverse, there is some work to be done in terms of addressing, confronting, and removing any fear, doubt, or resistance you have to this. So you may have a fear of, say, branching out and doing your own business that you know is going to be very profitable because of an old way of being and saying, oh, I can't do it. But if you look at it, all of those are available. It's saying change is here. Look at it from a different perspective. Do it your own way and be the one who is receiving it all, whose life is growing and is full and fertile and abundant. So Sag, I see a lot of opportunity here, but it's going to take some inner work to remove whatever blockages. You are ready to move on from something that could relate to your full moon in the 10th house of career. This card is showing up right around this new moon in Pisces in your 4th house. So this could be you moving to a new home. This shows 8 of Cups, moving on from something that we have put a lot of our heart energy into. And it could be that you've worked at the same company for a long time and you're afraid of branching off, doing it your own way, leaving something that has always been, letting go of that rose, and, maybe potentially receiving the financial abundance. This tells me that you're ready to move on from something, Sag. March 17th. plant a new seed, explore new lands. It's a really good time to do that because you're done with the old way. You might be fearful about letting it go, is what Death in Reverse says to me. But you are ready to, this is a completion, and this is ready to move on to the next cycle. So let's see what else is going on. 2 of Swords in reverse, fear of making a decision. 6 of Swords, this is recovery and healing. I'm really glad to see this after this. As you can see, these are Swords cards, Sag, which has to do with our thinking, ideas, beliefs, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. This means I can no longer do it this way. This is an old thought pattern that is no longer serving you. 6 of Swords means healing and recovery from that. It means new ways of thinking. It means going from a charged, difficult situation to new land, to new territory. Actually echoes this card as well. This card kind of says your heart's not in it anymore, whatever you're moving on from. But I'm seeing that there's something, this 2 of Swords is a decision that needs to be made that you're having a hard time making. There's something that needs to be moved on from that feels difficult. This card says, I don't know whether to go left or to go right. Therefore, I'm going to check out. I don't know whether to follow this sword or this sword, this idea or that idea. Therefore, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm just going to be stagnant. But this card says, you know what? I am willing to look for new, smoother horizons. I am willing to move on. I'm actually willing to receive help or give help or help myself. So 6 of Swords has to do with moving on to new horizons. I'm really getting echoes of this card, and you Sages know how to do that. Again, exploring new horizons comes naturally to you. So look at mid-month. If you're ready to move on from something, even if you're having a hard time making a decision, it can really provide you with a lot of healing and recovery and going from what feels like chaos to something that feels calm and serene. New lands, new territory. And let's see what's going on at the end of the month, Sag. Financial abundance. Viva la difference between these 2 cards, right? Financial poverty, feeling left out in the cold. And this is feeling warm and content inside, secure. It's feeling, 10 of coins is the most amount of coins on a card there is. This is the inheritance card. This is the windfall of money. It's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I often think of that with this card. It's financial abundance. So once you confront this decision that you're having a hard time making and actually move on from something that is no longer serving you, that you need to release old ways of thinking about, Sag, you actually put yourself in a place where you heal and recover from something. For some of you, this may be releasing addictions even. That can be this bottoming out card. You're healing, recovering, even if you don't know which way to go. And it actually brings you to a place of security, financial abundance. This is the content, happy family in the castle. I sometimes call this my returns on investment card, where you gather lots of rewards from having made good decisions over time. And this healing, it's a new way of thinking that brings you a lot of reward, Sag. So that's what I'm seeing here. But you do have to confront making a decision. You do have to let go of something that's no longer serving you. I'm really getting that some of this stagnant energy, 10 of Swords, Hangman in reverse, 2 of Swords in reverse, needs to be cleared out and dealt with. You actually need to take some sort of action with it. But I see you doing it at the end of the month. Recovery and healing leading to good rewards and results. And let's see what else is up here. Lovers in reverse. Interesting. Okay, so this is another, you've got a lot of major arcana cards here, Sag. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So there may be some big themes that come up. These cards both talk about relationship. This one is security and stability in the relationship. This one, when I see lovers in reverse, it talks about 2 things to me. It may be an unwillingness to be vulnerable, fearful about exposing oneself, or it could be a hard time making a decision, which also echoes this card. So I'm going to say that there is great stability and security available to you towards the end of the month, but you may want to also just consider how your relationship is showing up in terms of this. You know, are you happy financially, but you're looking for that relationship? Do you look good from the outside, but inside you're fearful about really revealing yourself? There's a lot of ways in which there's some sort of fear, doubt, or resistance to opening up and showing your true self, which allows you true security. So those are going to be some themes. I see a lot of recovery available to you, Sag, in March, especially as you address outmoded ways of thinking or flipping your perspective, letting go of something that's no longer serving you and moving on from it. And as you make that decision, as you confront your fears about making a decision, you actually take yourself on this nice journey away from a chaotic space to a more serene place where there's a lot more peace and harmony and security. And it allows you to kind of go deeper into showing yourself more truly in a more authentic way. So I see a lot of progression here in March, but there's a lot of stuff, major stuff to open up and look at so that you can turn around certain ways of thinking that will allow you to move on. So that's my reading for you, Sagittarius. I'm also going to be doing a love reading for Sag for March in a separate video. I will have a link up for that as soon as it's ready. And if you enjoyed this reading, please feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Sagittarius. Feel free to share it on social media. And if you'd ever like to book a personal reading with me, I have 1-hour readings, half-hour readings, relationship readings, one-question readings, and we can go into a lot more detail with your personal chart. So feel free to book those. You can do that by emailing me at readingsbygwendolyn@gmail.com or go to readingsbygwendolyn.com and we can get that scheduled for you. I want to thank everyone, as always, so much for watching. Yours in the stars.